We're starting.
I think I started last time, so I think it's your turn.
My time?
Yeah.
Okay.
My time.
My time. This is my time.
Okay.
Hello and welcome back to the Dusty Case podcast.
We'll get it one of these days, I promise.
I am your co-host, but really the host, Zerbraxi. And I have with me a great guy. He's got an attitude that is just breeds and oozes positivity.
Is he behind the couch?
A man who never lets something bad ruin his day, and a guy who can keep it calm in any scenario.
I literally said I was going to physically assault somebody today at work, so I had to leave early.
Ladies and gentlemen,
there's literally no way you're talking about me.
I present Rabies. It's good to have you here, Rabies.
I fucking hate you. I actually hate you. Why?
Explicit content now, thank you. And rated M for mature. This week is also sponsored by Wampa Fruit Game Fuel in the blender bottle from Amazon for $7.
Yeah, also, I don't understand the
course.
blender bottle trend where people got to pay like $40 to have a blender bottle with like their favorite content creators just logo on it. Yeah, but look how cool it is. And it's like, yeah, but like,
no, brother, I just want the thing. I want the thing that makes the powder go spread. That's what I want it for. I don't want. I even.
Atta girl, here you go.
Thank you. I feel sexy now. So we have another great show for you tonight. By the way, we're recording this right before we are about to be hit by a hurricane. That'll be fun.
Yeah, it's rad.
We'll be without power.
It's only category 1.
It's also really stupid humid again. So I apologize if you do hear any AC in the background. It's because we're trying not to die.
It's because it's summer in New England and it's humid as dog dick.
Yeah, so we've tried to set it up so you don't hear anything, but thank you for working with us. We have some gaming stuff to talk about today. But before we get into that, let me ask you, Randy, how you been doing?
I'd rather talk about games.
Sweet. All right. So we've had the
short TLDRs. I'm fine, guys. What's up?
We were talking about it before with the show, and that is the fact that I don't like calling this a show. I just realized I said it and I was like, God, the amount of effort we put into this, it doesn't deserve to be called a show.
No way. We do like one a month.
There's a reason we also used to call our old show Jerry Rig, because we would throw it together. Like, did this chair just squeak?
Yeah.
Oh, no.
It means you fat dog.
Is it time?
Shoot. Damn.
But we haven't been putting on a show every week because basically, if you're not following the Activision Blizzard drama,
there's nothing else to talk about.
Very little.
I'm really upset that there's actually a lot of gaming news. It's just gaming news I don't give a shit about enough to talk about on the podcast.
Fair.
Because everyone else talks about it. Like the Activision Blizzard stuff, it's horrible. I follow it on my own time. I don't want to talk about it on here.
Yeah, I love how there's some channels who are like literally every 3 or 4 days they're talking about how horrible it is, and you're like, yeah.
You're right.
How many times are you going to say it?
It's fucking awful, and they should be 100% held accountable.
Yeah, I appreciate your attempted at getting ad revenue clicks based because of people getting assaulted and someone committing suicide. Really glad you decided that was the topic you were going to get ad revenue from. Listen, I used to have a WoW channel, all right? I can say that now. I've been in this scene. Besides that, though, there has been some stuff that we've missed. Real quick, it's not on our list, but I did want to talk about it just very, very, very briefly, very like top level. Nintendo did just have their Indie World presentation a week ago, 2 weeks ago, and it was pretty cool. There was a couple games in there that I really want to try.
I don't remember a lot of them by name, but I do remember a couple of them.
That's my thing too. Is I don't know why I don't remember some of their names, but the opening game, like the Jet Set Radio spiritual stylish game or whatever, it looks so really good.
I want it. Jet Set Radio and Jet Set Radio Future are seriously some of the most fun, don't understand why it's fun video games ever.
Yeah, for real.
Literally rollerblade around a city spray painting.
Yeah.
The end. And if you said that to anybody, they'd be like, well, that sounds dumb. And then they play it. And then they're like, oh my God.
And yet it's cool. There's also another game that was really cool that does look neat, which is Eastward, being made by Chucklefish, who...
Does Chucklefish miss? Or do they always make bangers?
They definitely don't miss a chance to sexually harass their employees.
That's fair.
Because that happened.
That's fair.
But, because, it's a gaming company, unfortunately. But, no, as far as, like, actual games go, they've done some pretty good things. There's a couple other things, though, that I wanted to talk about. First off, we didn't really get anything on the game that I'm looking forward to the most, which is the new TMNT game, Shredder's Revenge, which looks seriously insane. But why am I not seeing the list of games that were just announced? This is very strange.
Go to Kotaku.
I got it here. So, no, this isn't it either.
You're so bad at this.
Yeah. Why is this not here? Anyway, but there were some relatively cool announcements. The reason I wanted to bring it up is because I don't have a lot to say. It was one of those. It's weird. There were a lot of like Nintendo YouTubers and Nintendo creators who were like saying this is the best indie world ever. And
about that.
Yeah, it's just a weird one. I don't know how to express it other than like, yeah, there's definitely a lot of games I would like if I check out yes, I'm that guy who makes a spreadsheet of games that are coming out that he's interested in. If I was to open that,
it's quite an impressive spreadsheet.
If I was to, I play like literally an eighth of them because I add way more than I can play. If I was going to go through this list though, there were a couple that got kind of brought up that I straight up was just like, oh, okay. Who didn't turn off their phone? This guy. So there were, where is it? There was one I had on here that I remember. Oh, I hope it wasn't Shredder's Revenge. That would have been awkward. Oh, Tales of Iron was one that looks really cool.
Which one was Tales of Iron?
Tales of Iron is the one that's like the kind of looks like Redwall and like that 2D stylistic style. So there was that, and there were a couple other games that are coming out for Switch that are also coming out for both. Like Axiom Verge 2 got announced that day for the indie world and was coming out that day. That's pretty cool. Like it's stuff like that that's kind of neat. So
you know what the indie world was? Is there was a lot of games that I was like, I'm interested in that. I can't wait to see more stuff on it. I'll never remember the name, but when it comes up in another trailer in about 6 months, I'm gonna go, oh shit, that's the game from Indie World like 6 months ago.
Yeah, and to be fair, like, so when I say that, like, people are calling it like the best, and I'm just not on that same boat necessarily. It's just like I didn't leave being like, yo, I need to play that thing, other than maybe the Jet Set game. Like, could be really cool. But I wanted to just bring it up because if you haven't watched it,
it's pretty good.
It's worth watching. There are some good games. Actually, speaking of a cool, it's not necessarily indie, but a cool game that's coming out, or that came out for the Switch.
I mean, it's kind of indie.
It kind of is. Team 17, but I just got this in the mail today. Greek Memories of Azure. So that game looks really cool, and I waited to buy it just to see what the early reviews were like. And it's gotten some pretty favorable things and a lot of details that I'm interested in. So that'll be fun. But anyway, besides that, Randy, did you have anything about Indie World you want to talk about? Or do you want to jump in to some games we've been playing?
I'm down for whatever. I actually not down for whatever. Go to the other thing because I mean, all I really have to say on Indie World is the games look cool. Can't wait to see more on them. Good job.
Go to the other thing.
Go to the other thing.
Sweet.
Do it.
Yes, boss. So we've been playing some games.
Yes. You first.
What? What have I been playing?
WoW. No.
I did play a little bit of WoW. So I still raid in TBC with my guild. Still raid. I raid 2 nights a week. It's pretty okay. We pretty much clear everything because it's content's like, 15 years old. But like it's fun. I enjoy my guild. I enjoy playing. That's about all I have to say about it. Yeah. I have a lot of other problems with WoW. A lot of them. And as I said to Randy before we started, if it wasn't for my guild, I wouldn't be playing. Like straight up. So besides that though, I finished Metroid Fusion about a week ago or so.
Great game.
And that will be being made for a video coming for the retrospective series that I'm doing for all the 2D Metroids before Dread. Also, cool news, my 3DS capture card is in the mail, coming to me. It's in the ocean right now. Someone should probably fish it, but I'm excited. Excited.
Try to tell someone to get on that.
It's so funny. It's one of those things where I was like, yo, I'm going to have a 3DS capture card. That'll be neat. And then I just thought of every DS and 3DS game I've ever wanted to play.
Yeah, fuck.
There are so many games on the DS and 3DS I've not touched because
one reason or another.
There was a period of time where I pretty much just played online games for quite a long period of time. And I own a bunch of DS games and a bunch of 3DS games, but I don't...
Can't confirm.
Yeah, but I didn't play most of them, to be fair, which is a part of a problem. The 2 that I just got recently that I'm actually stoked to play are the Superstar Saga 3DS version and the Bowser's Inside Story 3DS version. So I will probably touch on the Mario and Luigi series at some point.
What about Planet Robobot?
So Planet Robobot I want to get. I would love to do like a Kirby thing at some point, but Planet Robobot is still pretty pricey. It's like $50, $60 now.
I own it.
Do you? That makes my life easier.
Want to give me $50-$60 for it?
Yeah.
No,
as long as the quality's good.
No, I want it.
Okay, well, but yeah, like Planet Robobot is one of the few Kirby games I'm actually interested in playing. It's
very good.
The only reason I say it like that is because like Kirby is a great series, but it's also not. You know what I mean? Like
it's great for the same reason every time.
Yes, and it's also boring as all hell because it's the same thing every time. Except, and then you get like Kirby's Epic Yarn, which I know a lot of people like, and it looks cute, but when the gameplay is basically even easier Kirby, it's like, geez, I want to be able to like push the buttons. Like it's so easy.
That's why I like Planet Robobot. Yeah, it's very different.
Then there's Planet Robobot, which I remember watching a video on when it first came out and was like, yo, this is like actually a Kirby game I'd play again.
It's Gundam
Holy
Kirby.
Cow. Like, was it Star Allies?
Yeah.
Was like...
The Switch version?
No. The one that came up before Robobot then. What was that one called?
Triple Deluxe.
Triple Deluxe. I've seen stuff play. I was like basically outside the True Arena. I couldn't care less.
It's pretty good.
It seems...
It's Kirby. Like it's...
The problem I have with Kirby is so many of the games are just Superstar Saga again.
It's like the Star
Superstar Saga. Sorry, that's Mario and Luigi. Superstar.
Yeah.
Is it just Superstar?
Yeah.
But that's my problem.
It's like the Star Fox problem. Every Star Fox game is 64. Unless you're Assault.
I own every Star Fox game now, by the way. I don't know why.
What, all three of them?
Nope.
Star Fox 64, Star Fox 64 on the 3DS, and
Star Fox 64 on the Wii U, and Star Fox 64 on the SNES. Yes.
Nailed it.
But yes, I now own Star Fox Command and Assault as well.
You found a copy of Command?
You're dang right. I have no idea when I'm ever playing that.
Never.
But it might happen at some point. But so besides that, Metroid Fusion. I have a lot to say in that video coming up. It is such a... Oh, how do I want to say this without sounding too clickbaity? It is such a bad Metroid game. But it's such a good game.
I could see that.
It takes everything that every other 2D Metroid does and just does it wrong.
However,
and then all the stuff it does on its own, like what I mean is environmental storytelling and subtext are foreign to Fusion. Fusion, if you walk by something important, it's like,
yo, hey, can you come to the navigation room and let me know when you get there so I can tell you about it?
It's obnoxious. You're just like, all right, I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna go fight this bot way. I gotta go talk to the navigation room. Yes, Adam, I can see the map. Yes, Adam, I know the X parasites are still bad. Yes, Adam, I'll dodge the SAX again. Thank you. Now, where would you like me to go? Another navigation room? God damn it! Like, it's so obnoxious.
I'm glad I'm not the only one that feels that way.
But like, you can't get lost in that game, too.
No, it's literally impossible.
It's funny. I heard someone say like Super Metroid was like too confusing, and I don't know how you. There's like 2 points in Super Metroid that are I could see someone genuinely getting confused in, especially if you've like stopped the game. Actually, I made a reference to it in my video where it's like if you stop the game at a certain point and then come back to it days later and you don't remember exactly what you've discovered because the way the map works on Super Metroid, you can't tell where you've been. You can't tell like what parts are doors or hidden pathways, or not even hidden pathways, but pathways that have clear like entry points. I could see a couple points where people could get lost. In Fusion, it's genuinely impossible. The exploration is just not a major part of that game. It's almost barely a part of that game. Half the time, it's funny because all the major upgrades, like energy tanks and stuff, aren't hidden away. Like Super Metroid, it's like they're hidden. Zero Mission, they're hidden. Even AM2R, like they're hidden away. Fusion, it's I just got an E-tank on the main path, which means I'm about to fight a boss. It's literally like Zelda heart containers.
Yeah.
But that game is it plays so tight. It feels so good. The upgrades feel really good. The way the missiles work, where you can like charge the missile with a charge beam and make like the move. I forget what's called. That's really satisfying. I love the idea of the X Parasite. I love the idea of the station where everything feels handcrafted, which fits the fact that you're in a hand-built station by man. So that's kind of cool. And it has the best bosses in the series by a mile and a half. Like, not even close. It destroys every other 2D Metroid in terms of bosses. Like, 2D Metroid bosses kind of suck.
Yeah, they're not very
Fusions
good.
aren't bad. Literally, like, there's like not a bad one. So that's been a fun experience. You don't have to watch my video anymore. And then what else have I played? Oh, and then I started playing Death's Door, actually, as well. That is a fun game. It is a really fun game. I'm not sure if you know anything about it. But,
I know a little bit. I don't know like a crazy amount.
So it's a like isometric top down action game, and like the very much like a style of Bastion as far as like the way combat feels, works, and how the levels are laid out. But it's so clever. It's so creative in its writing. It's a lot of bosses, and the bosses feel really good to play. I'm obsessed with bosses. Like if you want to get me to get hooked on your game, have good bosses. There's a reason why in the 2D Metroid
unless you're
videos
Zelda, have good dungeons.
Well, bosses help there too. But yeah, it's like that's another thing. I haven't been playing. I've been watching two people play through Skyward Sword, and I've been watching them go through the emotional roller coaster that is Skyward Sword. And I don't mean emotional roller coaster because the narrative is so emotional. I mean, like, that game does some really great things, and it does some of the dumbest things the series has ever seen. It's really weird. And I see people like, I pick on the Nintendo Life guys. They're like, yeah, see, Skyward Sword is better than you ever thought. And it's like, except it also does all of these things worse than any other Zelda in the series, like by a lot. And it's like game crippling. But Death's Door, the combat and the way it unfolds, and it's very simple in the terms of Bastion, where you get slow. I'm going to refer to it as Bastion a lot because it's very similar. Very simple weapons, very simple combos, very simple like upgrade path. But it's the combination of those things that makes the combat so fun. And it's very clever in its writing. There's this really neat thing. I think the internet's kind of pointed it out a lot, but it's so cool. So you know how in like a game, if you read a sign and you like cut the sign and you try to read the sign again, it'll be like, oh, it's illegible or something. It'll give you like some message. In Death's Door, if you read a sign and then you cut it, it'll only show you half the interface. And then you can read the part that's on the ground and it will show you the other half of the interface. That's really funny. So there's just a lot of
that dumb shit that like they don't have to program that way.
Yeah.
But they're like, this shit would be funny. Do it.
100%. And it's created such a charming experience and it feels tight to play. So if you're looking for an indie game, it's pretty cheap and you like good bosses and you like good level design and you want to have some fun simple combat, Death's Door is a really good time. I think it's most of what I've been playing though. I'm trying to think of what I'm going to play next after Fusion.
Samus
now that
Returns?
it's done, yeah, but I need to wait for my 3DS to get here. So I'm waiting. I'm not sure if there's going to be something in between, but that's where I'm at.
Axiom Verge?
Oh, I might. I might. I also have a. Let me see. Just check out my spreadsheet. There's a lot. Oh, I did play Biomutant a bunch, by the way. I'm not sure if I told you.
You did.
You last like month or so.
Me? I think you texted me.
Yeah, for like a month. That game is really surprisingly better than a lot of people painted it. In a lot of ways. It's got some glaring problems for sure. But it's fun. It's a lot of fun. I'm like very glad I
think you just said sorry to the light.
I said sorry to the mic. But it's so weird. It's not a $60 game for sure. As far like I couldn't recommend it to someone at 60, but it's a fun time. It really is. It's so strange. It's just so unique, and yeah, I'm not gonna go down the path of Biomutant, but needless to say, I think the reviews for that game were strange. A lot of the problems that they were talking about, I genuinely never experienced, or I never even noticed them as a problem. It was very odd. But yeah,
interesting.
Well, how about you, Randy? What have you been playing? All right, someone told me you play games now.
I fucking hate you so much. So I actually played a shitload of the Back 4 Blood beta.
Yeah?
Like, a shitload. Myself, Jake, our buddy Kyle, and then eventually our buddy John ended up playing the beta. And I'm gonna say it. From just playing Act 1 alone, this game blows Left 4 Dead out of the water. In every conceivable way.
Good.
While
I mean, it's
also,
the same people, so they
Yeah.
know exactly what they're doing.
It takes the best. So I have a really weird history with Left 4 Dead. I played the first one all the way through once.
Okay.
And wasn't impressed. Like, it's fun, but
The first one you said?
Yeah, Left 4 Dead is one of those games where you can tell Valve did a Valve thing. They said, yo, this would be cool as a game. Just do it.
Yeah.
And they made it. And it's fun, but I'm like, it's all right. Like, I played through it once. I was like, I'll probably never do it again. There's no, like, progression. There's nothing to make me come back other than doing, like, speed runs. And I'm okay with that. I'm good.
Very fair.
Left 4 Dead 2, I played, like, 2 or 3 hours of it, and I was like, this is Left 4 Dead 1. I'm good.
Oh, I was the opposite. I actually liked it a lot more.
No.
I liked it a lot more in pretty much every conceivable way.
I was not a huge fan of Left 4 Dead 2.
The only reason I actually didn't spend more time in Left 4 Dead 2 was because Killing Floor exists.
Yeah.
And Killing Floor is just such a better game.
Yeah, Killing Floor 2 especially is.
Yeah, the only thing was it just doesn't have Valve behind it, so the
Yeah.
Killing Floor didn't get like as popular because of the naming.
Yeah.
But like, but yeah.
Back 4 Blood is literally obviously because it's same people, same type of game. Literally take the gameplay of Left 4 Dead, but take almost like a roguelike progression system and put it on top of that.
What do you mean? What do you mean a roguelike?
So basically, through your runs, through your acts, you gain points to buy stat cards.
Okay.
And they affect things like your stamina, your firepower, your ammo capacity, blah blah blah.
Okay.
But as you complete chapters in those acts, you build yourself decks, and you have like decks you can different sets of decks you can build for different kinds of runs you want to do. And as you're going through the acts, you get to pick a card from your deck after you beat a chapter in that act. So you can build your character around what you want to try to do that run.
Okay.
But then every character you play as has their own passive ability that boosts the team, along with their own ability that boosts themselves. So the girl I played had a boost to her own stamina, but her passive ability for the whole team for that run it's like a 20% stamina boost to your entire team. And those benefits stack, obviously, off the people you like. I think the character Jake was playing gives us all temporary health.
Okay.
So it's like, it takes like the elements of
what a surprise for Jake to play that.
Wow, weird. So it takes like these roguelike elements and throws it on top of the Left 4 Dead formula, and you're like, it might not work. And you play through, I'm telling you, I played Act 1 of Back 4 Blood more than I ever played Left 4 Dead 1 or 2.
That's good.
I played Back 4 Blood, just the first act, for probably 11 or 12 hours.
That's good.
And it's a lot of fun. The card system especially makes it a lot of fun.
Did you ever play like Rogue Legacy or...
I played Rogue Legacy when it first came out.
Or like even like Hades or Slay the Spire or anything?
I played the shit out of Hades.
So like, is it kind of like that where it's like you're making a continual progress?
Yeah.
Despite your... Okay. I think I get what you're saying a little bit more then. I was trying to just picture it in my head.
And then even the guns, like the guns...
I saw all the guns.
Like,
yeah,
you know how in like...
cool.
That's a moth. You know how in like... in Left 4 Dead, like when you go to safe rooms, there's like ammo boxes and armor, and that's basically all that's in there.
Right.
In this game, you earn currency throughout the level, and the ammo boxes also serve as an upgrade box. So like they'll have guns, there's gun rarities, there's attachment rarities, all your guns have stats. You can buy toolkits to unlock doors, health packs, you can buy team boosts in this box in the team, in like the room, that will give you guys another stat card. Like they typically have something to do with like team health or team stamina, or being able to, your team can hold extra toolkits or whatnot. But it's just, there's so much. I think what grabs me more with Back 4 Blood is there's just so much on top of a formula I already kind of enjoyed, and it just takes, it's little progression. Like it's not like crazy over the top ridiculous progression, but it's enough to move from chapter to chapter and really feel like you have an actual advantage against the Horde.
Sure. Okay, that's what you're saying.
It's awesome.
That's always been, as much as I enjoyed Killing Floor, by far, even Killing Floor and Left 4 Dead are like my least favorite Horde mode games, because I genuinely find Horde mode games boring as hell. Like it takes something to be really interesting. Like you can have what's the name of it? Is it not Dungeon Keeper? Dungeon Defenders.
There we go.
So Dungeon Defenders, like that style and the co-op style that you can do with it, it makes it interesting. Orcs Must Die. Like it needs something.
Also, Orcs Must Die. Please. More than 2-player co-op.
Yeah, I don't understand how 2-player is still the thing. Like not being dramatic. We had forgotten Orcs Must Die 3 came out, right? Like I think all of us did.
Yeah.
And we saw that it came out and we got stoked. And I went to literally buy it. And I genuinely saw a 2-players max, and I haven't bought it. It is the break for me. There are too many games out there, and for me to not be able to play with like you, Jake, and somebody, I don't care.
Yeah.
Like if it's just me and you, I mean that's cool and all, but like it's just us two. It could be so much more interesting.
Yeah.
And when you have games like Dungeon Defenders, yeah, like brother, it's Dungeon Defenders is a great time. It's a really great time. So it's a shame.
But
I'm glad they're adding a lot more to this formula than
just
more
fun.
horde mode, because I think horde mode is like the most boring thing in the world, but it can be made interesting. For sure.
I think you'd like it a lot. The best part is this
one RPG, and I'm in it.
This is one thing I never knew I disliked about Left 4 Dead, but enemy layout is always different in every act. Every run of the act.
Good.
The same trash is there, like the same regular zombies that you can just shoot in the head and they die. But the amount of them in certain areas of the map and the types in those certain areas changes every time you do a run. So it literally feels like Left 4 Dead roguelike.
That's exciting.
It is so goddamn fun. And I'm going to sell you guys on purely the last mission of Act 1.
Okay.
You know what the last mission is?
You kill your friends.
Wow.
Damn it!
It's literally a subway tunnel that's collapsed that the dead are coming through, and you literally have to defend one of your teammates while they load artillery shells into a cannon to fire artillery shells at the hole to get it to collapse. And as it's happening, it's just waves of zombies. Dude, it's fucking chaos.
That sounds fun.
So fun.
That sounds fun. You mentioned the map and enemy layout. That's actually one of the biggest gripes I've ever had with Diablo 3 versus Diablo 2. When you play Diablo 3, you realize how much of those maps aren't actually randomized.
Yeah.
It's like a very large portion of it. And one of the reasons why I think still to this day people say like Diablo 2 just feels like it never gets old is because of how much the maps and enemies are varied. That can go a long way for sure. I know you're right. I didn't think about that really. I forgot Left 4 Dead did that.
But yeah, so that's been like the main thing I want to talk about. It's like, dude, Back 4 Blood, it's a game that I was like excited about. But like, I didn't think I was going to care enough to play the beta as much. And then like Kyle gave me a beta key and I was like, yeah, fuck it. Why not? I'll try it. And dude, I played the shit out of it. I love it.
That's awesome.
I can't wait. Also, what else have I been playing? Link's Awakening.
Yeah, that was weird.
It was so random. I've been wanting to play it. I've been having like my gamer ADD moments. Like I go to play something and I like stress myself out and I just don't play it.
What am I going to play?
Dude, that's literally me. I literally like I get like so dead set on like wanting to play something and like I'll sit there at my computer and I'll stare at it and I'm like, I can't do it. I don't know why. I seriously don't know why. I don't get it. But I've been doing that.
I never knew that was the thing.
I don't know why.
I've always said you have gamer ADD like severely, but I didn't realize you like psyched yourself out.
Yeah, like it's fucked up. So like,
do you have like that crippling commitment issue? I mean, you're married. You've gotten
fuck.
Yeah. Do you know? But hey, that's hilarious. I'm gonna try that next time. I'm gonna open my Steam library and be like, do it. I can't. I'm freaking out.
Call Brennan here and just cry.
I really want to watch Death's Door, but I don't know if I can commit to that.
It's fucked up. It's fucking dumb.
It's awesome.
I don't even have a good reason for it. I just do it all the time. But anyway.
People are weird.
But Kyle and Kelsey were over the other day, and we were all playing Pokemon, and I got bored of playing Pokemon, so I was like, I haven't played Link's Awakening, so whatever. And it's good. I wouldn't like put it up, like I haven't finished it yet, but I wouldn't put it up like my favorite Zelda games, but it's pretty good. I think I actually had a talk with Andrew briefly. It wasn't a very long talk, but he said something that I think is very true and I think is a big strength to Link's Awakening. It is probably the purest Zelda out there. It is literally the purest form of here's your 2 sentences that describe the story. Go solve puzzles and beat dungeons, and that's how you complete the story and beat the game.
I mean, I would kind of still argue the first game definitely literally does that.
Well, yeah, but I think the concept of like it's very pure. It's quite literally the game is. If you've never played, I mean, the game's been out for fucking ever. I'm playing the Switch version of it, which I do have one big complaint about it, which is with every Switch game, but I'll get to that.
Oh boy. I have a big complaint about it. It's still $60.
Yeah. The only reason I'm playing it is because Tanya bought it when we went on our honeymoon. She was gonna like play it like in the hotel, like at night when we came back from doing all our shit. But
that's a weird thing, by the way. I have tried to play Link's Awakening 3 times to my memory. One of which on the DX, the DX version on the Game Boy, or the Game Boy Color. And I got stuck at some part. I don't remember why or how, and I stopped playing it. And then I remember trying to play it when it came out on was it the 3DS
maybe
eShop?
Maybe.
So I played it there. No, sorry, I played it on an emulator first, like years ago. Never it didn't something about it. I played it for like an hour, never touched it again. The 3DS eShop, I played it for like 2 or 3 hours, maybe that, not even that. Put it down and never went back to it. It's weird.
It's so funny. It's one of those Zeldas. If like it's very akin to like A Link Between Worlds, A Link to the Past, the original Zelda. Like it's that over top 2D style. If you've played one, you've played them all. It's not to that effect, but you've played that style. It's like when you play a 3D Zelda. Like if you get bored of a 3D Zelda, it's probably because you played the shit out of Wind Waker, Twilight Princess,
basically all of them. Yeah.
Ocarina,
it's weird. I actually think part of the reason I didn't play it for the 3DS version as much is because I had started playing it relatively soon after I finished Link Between Worlds, and Link Between Worlds is just so good that I don't know. It's something that's never grabbed me.
I'm like halfway through the game right now. There's 3 dungeons, 3 main. I did 4 main dungeons and 1 dungeon you have to do in between the 3rd and the 4th dungeon. The color dungeon.
That's the additional one from DX, right? The DX version?
Yes. I think so.
I believe.
It is a lot of fun. I am quite enjoying it. I am going to finish it because I am having quite a bit of fun with it. I like that, like I said, that pure Zelda feel. Go in a dungeon, go through the rooms and yada, 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 get your keys, beat the enemies, beat the boss, go to the next dungeon. I love that.
Yeah.
My biggest issue with A Link Between Worlds has nothing to even do with A Link Between Worlds.
Link's Awakening?
Yeah, Link's Awakening.
Can I take a guess?
Go for it.
It's a frame rate?
Yes, dude!
Scared me.
Dude,
scared me.
I literally had to look it up. There's a part in the game where you're in the first town and the game chugs to like 30 frames, 20 frames. And I'm like, what the fuck? I have to go back to the trailer and watch this to see if this happens in the trailer.
How does that game
And there's literally, in the trailer, no frame drop. Which, like, to be fair, in the trailer, if there's any frame drop, you're going to smooth it out anyway because you want it to look good.
Sure.
Dude, I'm not even kidding you. I was like 10 minutes into the game. I walked onto the beach and the fucking frames dropped to like 25 and I almost lost my shit. I was like, this is arguably one of the least graphically intensive games on the Switch. Aesthetically, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
But the aesthetic isn't going to make this console run like a fucking toaster oven.
Right. It's the whole point.
I was so... I'm sick of coming on every podcast and bitching about the performance of the Switch, but you know what? I'm going to keep doing it because we still got to talk about Pokemon. But you know what? That infuriated me.
No, it's pretty bad.
It's a first-party Nintendo remaster, and you're telling me you couldn't get the fucking thing to stay at 60?
It's a Game Boy game. It's a remake of a Game Boy game. Like an accurate remake of a Game Boy game.
And I don't even care, right? If there's those people that watch this and say, you're just complaining, blah, 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 at least it runs. That's not a fucking argument, all right? It's a fucking remake of a Game Boy game from 1990, what, 4?
If that.
3?
If that, yeah.
And it chugs.
It might have been the year we were born.
Pretty consistently, dude. It's like, oh my fucking God. It drives me fucking insane. And the problem is, I guess I looked up online, I guess some of the ways to fix it is to play in handheld mode because it chugs less in handheld mode.
93.
So I was like, no. Because I tried playing in handheld mode and I'm like, no, this looks like garbage.
Why does it chug less in handheld mode?
I have no idea.
Is it some like bug because of the resolution?
Maybe.
Is it because it's trying to go to 1080p, therefore it drops the frame rate?
Maybe.
The thing is, this is the thing that people don't seem to like really understand is like, well, first off, 30 FPS shouldn't be like the standard. That should have been the standard 10 years ago. So you shouldn't accept it, for one. But two, when a game dips from like 60 to 30 even,
it's not like dipping from 60 to 58.
It like snaps you. It really does. It like breaks you out of it for a second.
It annoys me.
It really does. And to be fair, actually, now that I've had them for a few years, but I'll even notice it when I was playing Overwatch a bunch and I had 144 hertz monitors when I first ever had them. If my game went from 144 hertz to 60,
oh god.
Yeah, you're like, oh. And it's not even that it looks bad necessarily, but it
breaks your immersion, and that's the problem.
Aggressively.
Especially in a game like Link's Awakening that's so just dependent on you being immersed and just going through dungeon to dungeon and just no-lifing it.
It's kind of hilarious because there's a lot of irony. People who still think that consoles aren't just big PCs. It's hilarious when you then look at the PS5, and I think this is a great thing, though, that they're doing, but it's just funny. When you look at like Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, and it's like, oh, I've got 3 different graphical settings for you, and one of them is literally like, I care about frame rate more than anything. And the fact that console games are getting to a point where they have graphics settings is kind of...
They're PCs.
They're kind of hilarious, but it's also like, I'm also glad that is a possibility. Like, if this was a thing where someone said like, oh, hey, by the way, Link's Awakening chugs at random points in 1080p, I would just turn it to 720. Like, I care about 60 FPS more than I care about slightly higher resolution.
I love the game. It's a lot of fun.
Also, that game does not look like it should be chugging.
No, and aesthetically, that's one thing. That's one thing. I'm not going to stay on Link's Awakening for too much longer because we got other shit to talk about. But like aesthetically, I know like when the trailers first came out, like people were shitting on it, saying it looked like shit or whatever. And I just wanted to be like, guys, it's literally 3D rendered version of the Game Boy game. If I pictured in my, you know what I akined it to, like me being a kid playing Link's Awakening for the first time on a Game Boy. That's probably how I imagined it in my head looking. They just made it that on the Switch.
Yeah, I'm actually having the same thing. I'm not going to go jump the gun too much here, but to make the comparison, I'm kind of having that same shift with my mindset about the Diamond and Pearl remakes. When I first saw the art style, I was like, ugh. And then when I look at it next to like Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum, it's like, oh, obviously, right? It's yeah, I totally get what you mean. Like, it looks exactly like what you would expect if Link's Awakening was made in the same art style, but with the technology capable today.
I won't stay on too much longer. If you haven't played it, play it. I think you should give it a shot. Maybe when I'm done with it, I'll let you borrow it.
Yeah, maybe, or if it goes on sale.
But it's just that infuriated
me. The same thing with Luigi's Mansion 3 and some other game went on big sale because it was like, I want to buy Luigi's Mansion 3, but $60 for
Riley has it.
Oh yeah, whoops. Well, I have it now.
But that's what I've been playing.
Cool. So besides that, Randy, it's been a pretty interesting week, and I know what you really want to talk about. So I think we should just get to the Skyrim remake.
You know what's really upsetting? I don't have a single good thing to say for the rest of this podcast. Well, that's a lie. I have a good thing to say about one particular thing. And you already said it, but we'll go back to it because it involves a presentation.
Sure.
But
I'll be honest with you. I actually didn't know this was a thing until you linked it, and I had to look it up. I'm going to pull this back up again because I'm genuinely like impressed with. I'm impressed by how much this has become a meme of Skyrim. And what's really interesting about Skyrim, this Skyrim re-release, so it's happening again, basically. Skyrim is celebrating its 10-year anniversary with the Anniversary Collection, which essentially just means it is releasing now on the PS5.
Yeah,
and
they're
the
releasing
the
like definitive edition on PS5 and Xbox Series X.
There's a couple things I wanted to talk about this specifically that I find to be genuinely interesting.
One thing in particular about it that I find very interesting.
Sure. Okay. So
two things technically.
I'll go first on one point. What I don't get is how Bethesda is able to do this with Skyrim and not even remotely consider their other Elder Scrolls games. That's the thing that I genuinely don't understand. Like, Skyrim is Clearly, by sales, the most successful Elder Scrolls game, for sure. But that's because, arguably, of Morrowind and Oblivion specifically. Like, those games made Skyrim, set it up for success, for sure. Because let's not forget, when Skyrim launched, the original reception was not what it is today. The original reception was, ooh, sweet, another Elder Scrolls game. I can't wait. And most people who played it right at launch was like, this is a worse Oblivion.
Yes.
Straight up. This is a worse Morrowind in like every way. This game looks bad. It looked gross when it came out. Like disgustingly gross. People talk about Fallout 76 and it's like, yeah, that's what Skyrim was. For a lot of people who weren't just like trying to like overly fanboy it. And what I don't understand is they look at this and like Elder Scrolls is seriously such a beloved franchise and they've only locked it to Skyrim. Are you telling me there's no one who'd be interested in a remaster of Morrowind or Oblivion? Like, really?
Let's be real. If
How much
they
would that
released
sell?
a remaster of Oblivion packed in with a remaster of the Shivering Isles, you're telling me people wouldn't eat that shit up?
Yeah. And you could do more with it. Add like, here's some things that were originally cut and we've added them in the game. Like, what I just don't understand, it seems so short-sighted, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because I think it's actually so there's like two ways to look at this. One is the business perspective, which I think is just an incomplete view of what's actually going on here. I think this is just more of an expression of how genuinely lazy Bethesda is as a developer. Their publishing company is seemingly fine, at least as far as like what they're willing to do and the money they're willing to put into projects, but Bethesda as a developer are just lazy. They're very, very lazy. There's a reason why Starfield didn't have gameplay at E3.
They don't have any worth showing.
They're lazy. And I feel bad because I'm sure there's a lot of people at the company who are working very hard on these projects, but whoever is...
We wouldn't know it. That's the problem.
We would never see it. And I just... When I say they're lazy, I don't say that in like a high horse, soapboxy way. It's...
What kind of soap?
Irish Spring.
I was literally thinking Irish Spring.
What it is genuinely is like, I'm saying it kind of disheartedly because it's like, there are clearly talented people. Like Bethesda made Morrowind and they made Oblivion and they made Fallout. They made some incredible games that I absolutely adore. They didn't make New Vegas, but they made Fallout 3 and
New Vegas is so good.
Yeah, but like they made Shivering Isles. Like, let's just be real. That expansion is so good. It's genuinely one of the best expansions gaming has ever had.
Shivering Isles made Oblivion as good as Morrowind to me.
It arguably made it better. Straight up. It brought it to the same
tier. I love Morrowind. Morrowind's my favorite Elder Scrolls game.
The gameplay gets tough to go back to, but like that's the thing that I think at this point it's just because Skyrim's been around and they're just like they just get more bang for their buck, so to speak, I guess, from like a time perspective. But it's just a shame that every time a Bethesda product comes out, it's just like there's no excitement, right? Like looking at this announcement, I didn't even know it happened, and when you read through comments or whatever, people are like, "Oh, like that's when you failed."
Yeah,
like as a developer, you have failed. Like that's not even the Blizzard thing. At least Blizzard is like getting talked about. Like Bethesda is what it's almost like when Monolith Soft before Xenoblade Chronicles came out when they're making Xenosaga. It was like, by the time Xenosaga 3 came out, people were just like, Who is this? Who is this? Who is this company? It's kind of like what Retro was going to happen if they kept doing Donkey Kong Country Returns the way they were. There are a lot of people who love Returns and love Tropical Freeze, but like the general population in gaming was like, oh. Bethesda has hit that to like a degree I've never seen before. People just like don't even care.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
I put it on the list to talk about because I specifically have an issue with something you basically said that I'm going to piggyback off of, which is Bethesda being lazy and milking a franchise. You are effectively turning your franchise into a meme. You've effectively done it. You have now...
Yeah.
And this isn't like a game developer. I can't think of any off the top of my head. I'm sure you could think of some. I'm not good at like doing that while I'm in the middle of a thought. But there are game developers that basically play into the meme to hype their game up.
Oh, Among Us.
But they
Fall
don't
Guys.
do it for 10 fucking years.
Well, the thing is that here's the I think here's the point that you're trying to make, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there are games that play into their status or they play into the memes about their games. But Skyrim is a meme.
Yes.
Like it's not. There aren't memes about Skyrim.
Skyrim's
the whole
the meme.
existence is a meme. That's the thing that's so interesting to me. Like if someone says something and you're like, you show an Among Us guy and it just says sus, it's like, okay, that's a funny meme about Among Us. If someone literally says anything about Skyrim, it's because no one takes it seriously.
Literally, the perfect example is Quinn. Quinn literally says all the time that Skyrim is the best game ever and it's his favorite game and yada, yada, yada. When clearly it's not, he's trolling. But that's the level we're at.
He actually thinks it's boring as sin.
Because it is.
Yeah.
I'm going to put my opinions of Skyrim aside for a second, because I'm going to be honest, TLDR, I don't like the fucking game. I think Skyrim is not good. Combat sucks, the story sucks, the world's boring.
Yeah, and unfortunately, I'm in mostly the same camp, but I never played a lot of the later DLC, so I don't know.
Same.
But it's because the base game is so dull.
If you like Skyrim, cool, great, awesome, love you. But my biggest thing is I could accept it when it got a PS4 remake. I figured, okay, whatever. We figured that was going to happen.
The one gen up, yeah.
Then we got the Switch port, and we're like, okay, Skyrim's going to something else. I guess whatever. And then we got the definitive edition release again on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, and we were like, okay.
Then there was a special edition re-release for the PC as well.
Yeah, they had the release on PS4 and Xbox One,
then
and then they did the remaster for the PS4 and Xbox One, and then that remaster went to Switch.
Yeah.
And it's like, okay, so...
But here's the thing I think that makes the Skyrim thing a problem is during that time, there's been nothing.
Exactly.
There's been Fallout 76.
You guys...
Oh, and technically Fallout 4, but let's also not treat Fallout 4... Let's be real. Fallout 4 is probably the most lukewarm Fallout game that series has ever had. The people who love Fallout 1 and 2, who made it a popular franchise, adore those games. People who like Fallout 3 adore it. The talk behind New Vegas builds every year. More and more people end up liking it every year. And then there's Fallout 4. It's a very strange... You know what it almost reminds me of? It's like Dragon Age 2.
Yeah.
It's there's Dragon Age Origins, one of the best CRPGs ever made. And Dragon Age Inquisition, a really damn good pseudo-open world RPG.
And then Dragon
no
Age 2.
one talks about Dragon Age 2. That is Fallout 4. I don't ever hear people actively mention it. And so when your only other product that you've really released during that time is a game that people don't bring up in discussion, and then a game that was so bad that there have been lawsuits over it, and besides that you've just re-released this one game over and over and over again because you did have one hit. It's very strange.
I don't want to stay on it too much longer because then I feel we're going to get redundant or whatever. But
I have one more big thing I don't want to talk about it.
For me, you have people foaming at the mouth for Elder Scrolls 6. And I want people to understand, you have been waiting for Elder Scrolls 6 for 10 fucking years, and you have now gotten 4 to 5 different versions of Skyrim.
Yeah.
And you're still okay with that.
12
and that's
launches, by the way. 12 different launches.
And that's my problem, is people are okay with it.
I forgot about the PSVR as well.
People are okay with it because of the meme. Because of the meme that is Skyrim.
I almost wonder how people actually buy it for other reasons besides
because the thing is, who buys it? People who haven't played it? There's so many different platforms this fucking game is on. How have you never played it?
Or do people buy it? Maybe it's people who haven't played it, but they hear the name all the time because it's such a meme, and maybe we're marketing for them. Now, there is a point that I really did want to bring up at this conversation, though, and it's one that I hate to say. I remember talking about this years and years and years ago.
I don't know where you're going with this. But
we brought this up years ago when we were first ever doing podcasts, and we had, I forget which iteration of name of our podcast that we changed 18 times. But when they first introduced the Creators Club,
I know
there was
where you're
a
going with
big
this.
thing that you and I both joked about, which was this is the way that Bethesda no longer has to develop their own game, and they can have modders do the thing modders were already going to do. Bethesda gets credit for it, and Bethesda makes the money for it. big feature that they announced is that it comes with 500 Creation Club elements that, by the way, are free on PC, but everybody else has to pay for. And that could include something as simple as a chair. Let's not forget that. Fishing is a Creation Club element that's being re-released. So here's the thing. Fella who made fishing mod for Elder Scrolls, if you didn't release it on the Creation Club, right? If you released it on like the Nexus Mods website and Bethesda liked the mod, here's what would actually happen in the real world. They would reach out to you, they'd ask to use your code, and you'd get paid. Because you created it for the Creation Club, they made the money for anybody who bought it.
Nothing.
If you sold it. Yep. And because you uploaded it to the Creation Club, you cease ownership of the entire project. You get nothing. And I'm not trying to pick this person out or like pick on them or whatever. They may be honored by the fact that their mod is put in or whatever, right? This was the catch the whole time. We genuinely predicted that they would re-release iterations of Skyrim. I remember our conversation that they would re-release iterations of Skyrim because it was already a meme then, and they would include things from the Creators Club because you give up full ownership of it, and they would take full ownership and credit for the project, and they would make the money from it. In the same way that Blizzard just did the same thing with Warcraft 3 Reforged.
Yep.
And they're gonna do it. And they now just did it again. And by the way, here's another thing that's kind of funny, and we'll move on. They didn't even say if they're getting better graphics, by the way.
Oh, it's definitely not. No way.
They didn't even say it. People just say presumably. So anyway, Skyrim's still being a meme. Another Metroid Dread trailer dropped, and it's really cool. You should go watch it. That's all I want to say about that one. All right. Pokemon. Pokemon's presence just happened. And Pokemon is a weird company. Talk about lazy before we get too far. I have my view of Pokemon is like changing constantly. And there's a lot to this. So they announced, let's go over like the things that don't matter as much. So there's an update to Home or whatever.
Yeah. Cool.
There's another update to the cafe mix side game. Yeah, whatever. There's a Pokemon Go update, which, I mean, Pokemon Go is still
5-year anniversary. Good job.
Yeah, but Pokemon Go is still one of the coolest ideas gaming's ever had. To be fair, I'll never be able to take that away from it.
No.
I had some of the most fun times I've ever had playing a game.
Walking around at midnight downtown.
Is playing Pokemon Go. I can't deny it. I don't play the game anymore, but that's okay.
Those memories are cool.
Yeah, you will not hear me bash on Go necessarily, because I think it's such uncharted territory. Who do you compare it to?
You don't.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like it's such, and then what was the other thing that
Pokemon Unite's getting a mobile version with crossplay.
That's right.
Cool. Unite's pay to win. Don't care.
Fine. Yeah, I couldn't care less about the game, but fine. People like it. Sure. I'm not interested. That conversation to me is so boring because it's a pay to win game. I instantly just move on. And God, I will say though, if none of you have seen it for whatever reason and you watch this instead of his channel, if you've never watched Beat 'em Up's video,
it's a great video
about how pay to win it is, he not only claims it, he then does it and then proves it. And people in the comments are still like, yeah, but it's not pay to win.
Yeah, but it is though.
And he's like, yeah,
watch the video.
You watched me do it. So that, to me, that conversation's boring. If a MOBA today released and it was pay to win, no one would play it. Well, actually, to be fair, League of Legends exists. Oh, and Smite too. Smite's getting a little pay to winny lately. Smite's been doing some dumb stuff.
Zerbraxi getting fucking spicy over here.
Oh, LOL's such a
bad game.
It's just the business model is so bad. The game's fine. However, there were two big things that were discussed. The two big Pokemon things that that most people care about: the Diamond and Pearl remakes. We got some more stuff on them.
Mm-hmm.
You want to talk about those first?
Sure, because that's the stuff that I don't have a lot of negative stuff to say about.
I actually want to say straight out, after watching this, I'm genuinely more excited for the remakes after watching this little presents. I think the game looks better than what they last showed. Granted, that bar was pretty low.
Yeah,
but it looks better. It's, to me though, there's a couple things that they're adding I'm genuinely interested in. There's the new feature that's basically a underground exploration where it looks like I don't know, they didn't say how it exactly works, if it's because like a random generation, continual generation.
I don't remember.
Or if it's like a pre-built map, but you're exploring and it's just massive, or how it's working. But I like the idea that there's basically a Metroidvania, for lack of a better term, style map underneath the ground that's separate from the main game that you can catch Pokemon that aren't native to the world. And it's like the way that they're getting non-Sinnoh Pokemon into the game.
That's awesome.
And you can not just that, you can like use statues and stuff to increase the chances to find like that Pokemon in secret bases, almost like in Pokemon Emerald, where they had the secret bases, except this time the statues are more than aesthetic. And so it would help genuine like IV and EV training or like catching shinies or whatever. Like that's a really cool way to encourage shiny hunting. Yeah. So that's a pretty cool feature. There's a pretty big catch to the Diamond and Pearl remakes. They also announced there's no ranked battles.
Yeah.
Which is a bummer.
I actually have had a conversation. Ironically, our buddy Tom, really big into the VGC scene. He's done a lot of competitions. Yeah. He's placed really high in a lot of them, especially during the X and Y era. Yeah. He was explaining to me that basically he's pretty sure the reason they're not doing it is because Sword and Shield never got a competitive scene. When Sword and Shield came out was right before COVID. So there was never any in-person tournaments. So the reason they're not having ranked battles in Diamond and Pearl is because the ranked battles already exist in the format that exists in Sword and Shield.
They should have just made a better online format. Pokemon's just so behind.
In what way?
Oh my goodness. I don't know if we want to go down that route. but they should have just made a better online format. Like, are you kidding me? Esports and gaming blew up because of COVID. And Pokemon has the nerve to be like, yeah, no, but not our game.
I mean, they did do online tournaments and shit like that.
They should have just done better. They should have just done better.
I think basically what he was getting at is I think he said they want to continue the Sword and Shield format.
So I would just buy the fact that Sword and Shield's the highest numbered game, so you leave that one to be. I get it. It's just a bummer that there's not even a side ranked series that like people could just. It's an off series. That's fine. Like that's fine. It's all. There's no ranked in Pokemon Legends Arceus either. So that's good. But I'm just saying, but like that's just a thing that doesn't exist. Like for people who are interested in ranked play or ranked competitive play, that's a pretty big dock to those games, because Pokemon, whether we like it or not, Pokemon has been around for a while. There are some people who just aren't. They need something more to spice the interest, and competitive play might be. You do it. You play Pokemon Showdown just like randomly, just cause.
A lot.
Ranked play, I'm sure, could be like a genuine selling point.
And I've made it to Master Ball rank in Sword and Shield.
Right.
Ranked singles a couple times.
Right. So like ranked is like could genuinely be a selling point. Maybe not to you, but to some people in your similar position.
It actually benefits someone like Tom a lot if they had it in Diamond and Pearl, because Gen 4 is his favorite gen.
It's also just it's a really good. They're really good games. Like Platinum especially is it's a genuinely great game.
I love Gen 2. Gen 4, without a shadow of a doubt, is the best Pokemon gen.
Yeah,
period.
My favorite Pokemon game, Soul Silver and Heart Gold. But Platinum is just so good. I don't know if I think I've always said it. I think Platinum's better. I genuinely do. The other thing that I wanted to talk about with Platinum that I like that they're doing is I'm glad they're embracing a lot of the little aesthetic things. There's actually like a lot of things that Pokemon should have been doing for a long time, and they're finally doing it way too late, but they're doing it.
Yeah.
Little things like the fact that every game now has clothing customization is like cool. I'm glad it happened, and I'm glad it's in every game. It's very limited in Diamond and Pearl for sure in the new remakes, but I'm glad it's there. Another little thing. I know this is stupid and no one cares about this, and I don't either until I'm probably going to do it, and then I will, is like putting stickers on the Pokeballs. That's coming back, but it's coming back in like a really big way to like really change a lot of the animations of Pokemon coming out of the Pokeball. You can add some cool theming to that. I'm going to make my Growlithe come out in a fiery explosion. Like, it's kind of neat.
Yeah.
Does it really matter? No. There was a couple other mini games that they showed that they're adding to the series.
Yeah.
And that's, to be fair, they need to do something. And I mean it when I say like, it's because Pokemon is so long lasting at this point, and they've been so slow to add new features. Like Monster Hunter Stories 2 comes out like a few months ago, and people are like, this is better Pokemon. And they've had one game before it.
I do want to play Monster Hunter Stories 2.
I do too, actually.
Like a lot of fun.
Temtem is another one I bring up a lot. And people are like, yeah, this is just better Pokemon. Like, they're just so slow. But when they do these things, you're like, but some of this stuff is why people like Pokemon. And there's a couple of those things coming out in the Diamond and Pearl remakes. The games still look really rough. They look really flat still.
Yeah.
There's a lot of that, like, typical Pokemon problem, unfortunately. One thing I didn't know, though, until I noticed it in the trailer, and I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. I noticed the way they worded it. This isn't being made by Game Freak.
No, I didn't find that out until John told me the other night.
I found out today when I watched it. When you texted me we were going to talk about it, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'll add it. It's a company, I wrote it down, ICLA, and they are a pretty big, like, support studio, but Masuda is still directing the game. But one thing that I do like is that I'm curious to see how this is, because I'm going to be really sad if I like this more than Game Freak games. Because that'll be a really weird position. But they've been in support of, like, a lot of games. One second, I'm going to pull up the list because it was really cool. Okay, here we go, yeah. So here are just some of the recent projects that they've worked on as a support studio. Yakuza 0.
Whoa.
Dragon Quest 11.
Whoa.
Nier Automata.
What the?
Naruto Shippuden Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. And Ace Combat 7. What a variety of games. What a variety of games.
Every single one of those games is incredible.
And they're really good.
Now I want to play Storm 4 really bad.
Yeah. Like this, I was reading that list, I was like, and you know what they've made for Pokemon? Home. That's it. Like, I'm looking at this and I'm like, I'm kind of glad they're actually having an opportunity to, like, show their stuff. Unfortunately, it's a remake of a game, but still. I would love some of the stuff, like when I see it and I'm like, oh, I like this new thing they're bringing back or a new thing that they're doing. It's like, how much of this is because it's not Game Freak making it? But I don't know. I don't want to get like down that conspiracy rabbit hole, but I'm glad a different company is getting their hands on Pokemon to at least just give us a different perspective.
It alleviates the breadth of Game Freak. It at least...
Yeah, sorry, go ahead.
It at least puts the I say puts the pressure. I don't mean to put the pressure on like in the normal way, but it at least puts the pressure on this studio to do right by it and do better by it.
Yeah, because it's still Pokemon.
Because if let's be real,
is still so big.
Let's be real. If Game Freak was doing it, they would just do by it. They wouldn't do right by it. They'd just do it. Yeah.
So if this game does really, really well, and like Arceus Legends doesn't, it makes you wonder, like we'd have to figure out the why. Like why does one work and not? And is it because of the developer behind it? There's been so much animosity towards Game Freak lately. I'm genuinely interested to see like what someone else brings to the table here. But the Diamond and Pearl remakes, what I wanted to say is anyway, I've been interested in them because I love the Gen 4 games, and I played them near the I played them just before X and Y came out, like just before it, because I played them really late, and they're incredible. But the big one, obviously, is Pokemon Legends Arceus, which, by the way, I'm glad that the lady in the trailer keeps saying Arceus, because I can tell all the people who told me it was Arceus to piss off. This is going to be an interesting one. Do you want to start? You're heated on this one, so I think I'll let you start, and maybe we can bounce off each other here, because I have a lot to say on this as well.
I think a lot of our stuff will overlap, so I'll start, but I think it's all just going to kind of...
I want to let you run with this, because... So I love Pokemon.
Same.
But you, like, really love Pokemon. For sure. Like, you and me are not on the same level of Pokemon fandom.
So I really liked Pokemon. I loved Gen 1 and 2. I really didn't like Gen 3.
But Oris was especially so good. Actually, those are the only ones I don't own. I actually got rid of them.
So I got rid of Alpha Sapphire.
Yes, the only ones I don't own anymore.
Gen 4 I liked. I probably like it more now. I only beat it once, and then I didn't play it, and I didn't like Black and White, so I never played Black and White 2. And I hit this point where I said, man, I really don't know if I like Pokemon anymore, because I just felt like I wasn't liking the games.
Sure.
And then X and Y came out.
Yeah.
And I loved X and Y. The reason I think I liked X and Y so much was how easy it was to train Pokemon, and how much I realized I loved training Pokemon to be competitive.
Yeah,
I don't.
I saw you.
I don't play VGC. I don't do doubles. I'd like to sweat, but I don't want to be like. I don't really like double battles. If I'm being completely honest, they're fun.
I don't like double battles either.
They're fun, like the first time you do it.
Yeah, I don't like them in general.
But
my only worry with Temtem.
As a competitive format, the biggest problem with VGC for me is you have different Pokemon that are good at specific things, but they all do the same thing. You want a Pokemon on your team with Wide Guard. You want a Pokemon on your team with Follow Me. You want a Pokemon on your team with Helping Hit. There's nothing about the VGC format that I'm like, man, that would be that's awesome.
Right.
I like watching people play it who do it really, really well.
To be fair, it's like watching anybody who's the best at something. Sure.
I love watching singles. Competitive singles battles are fucking awesome because you can make any Pokemon work. I made my first Master Ball rank on Sword and Shield with a Alolan Weezing or Galarian Weezing. I didn't see a single fucking Galarian Weezing on my way to Master Ball, and I did like 34 battles on my way to Master Ball. And I was like, that's what I like about it. So X and Y really helped me get back into the groove. You know, I like X and Y a little bit more than most people. It's really easy. I will never deny that fact. It's a piss easy game, but it's a lot of fun. The story was good enough. I thought Team Flare was really good. I liked the legendaries. It was a fun game.
It was definitely the hats and the dresses, though, right?
Yeah,
the outfits are the real reason.
The outfits are kind of rad. Omega Ruby F Sapphire came out.
They're bad.
Sun and Moon came out.
Also bad.
And I hit the lull again of like...
Same. I did the same thing.
Oh my god, here we fucking go again. And then Sword and Shield comes out, and I do really like Sword and Shield, but it has these elements from Oris and Sun and Moon that I can't fucking stand. And I'm like, I'm so tired of feeling this way about a series that I just got back into.
Yeah, can I interject here for just a second?
Yes, Dad.
There's a great argument that people use all the time, and you mentioned it exactly earlier, and I had the same exact thing. People say like, oh, you just don't like Pokemon anymore. You've outgrown it, or you're too old for it, or whatever. Right? Like I had that same thing. I didn't really like Black and White very much. I know a lot of people really do. I just didn't. But Black and White 2 I really enjoyed. But it was like even then I was just like the first moment I had maybe I'm just outgrowing it was actually after Gen 3, and I started. I think it was Diamond, and it was one of those like I've been through this before, so I just put it down.
Yeah.
And I had that thought of I just don't like Pokemon anymore. And I played Black and White, and I was like, yep, that's what it is. I just don't like Pokemon anymore. I don't know why I picked up Black and White 2, other than I knew X and Y was like going to be a thing, and people were playing or talking. I already turned that off. How the hell did that happen?
What in the actual?
You watched me do it. But David, so it happened, so I went and played them anyway for no reason. I don't know why. And I think they're pretty good. And then I played Platinum after that, after I'd already been in the phase of I don't think I like these games. And I fell in love with Platinum. And then I fell in love with X and Y. I have a lot of beef with it, sure, but I like that game a lot. And I'm with you. It's weird. I went back into that lull with Oris, especially with Oris. And then with Sun and Moon, and then Ultra Sun and Ultra Moon. Like I tried them, and I was like, these are all I'm not clicking. And then Sword and Shield, again, I've got a lot of problems with it, but it's a fun game. So it's weird because I don't buy that argument. Now that I've been through that phase like several times, I don't think it's as simple as just you've outgrown Pokemon or you just don't like it anymore. I don't think it's as simple as that. I think there were just some really weird decisions that the company's made from a game design perspective, in the same way that people don't just dislike Paper Mario because Sticker Star was different than Thousand Year Door, right? It's like one of those games is bad. And it's not Sticker Star.
Ooh, that hurt. I know you were joking and that hurt. Oh my god. I'm gonna have to text Jack and see if he's okay.
Ooh, yeah, I think he just died. But yeah, I get what I just wanted to bring up that you made that argument, or you brought up that argument because we think it and people say it. I just think it's BS.
So I think it's safe to say that everyone who plays Pokemon wants something new.
An open world Pokemon game.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we got the first trailer for Legends Arceus, and it was bad.
Oh, it was gross. They shouldn't have shown it.
It was not.
They shouldn't have shown it.
It was clearly a very unfinished game, and they just wanted to show it. You could have shown.
Shouldn't have. They should stop.
You know what that first trailer could have been? It could have been the person on top of a hill, on top of that mountain hill thing they were on, overlooking a valley that had wild Pokemon in it, and that could have been the trailer, and people would have been like, "Okay."
Yeah, like a little tease.
Like I'm in.
A little tease.
But no, that first trailer was horrible. You had Pokemon literally running at like 4 frames a second.
Quite literally.
You had the horribly flat textures from Sword and Shield. and you have this weird cell shaded, not cell shaded art style that doesn't mesh with the environment.
It's not sure if it wants to be Breath of the Wild or not.
So the first trailer, I wrote it off and said, I'm going to keep my eye on it. I at least think if this is what I think it is, I might like it. I'll watch for it, but I'm not impressed.
Sure.
The second trailer comes out.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I might be out. This game. So here's my biggest problem, right? Other than visuals, I'll get to visuals in a second, because if I'm going to be completely honest, my biggest problem is a problem I have with every fucking Switch game lately. But we'll get to that. My biggest problem with the second trailer is all this made it feel like was another Pokemon game. The way the trailer is shot, and go back and watch it, because I know you're going to feel the same way after I say it. Go back and watch the trailer, and the way they go through and film the towns and the way the town layouts are.
No, I know.
You're literally going to be doing the same thing. There's just not probably going to be gym battles. It's literally going to you're going to go to 8 different towns, going through the big ass region that connects it all. And it's just going to be a Pokemon game with a really big wild area, which is not what the fuck I want. That's not what I want.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm okay with there being towns and things to do and people to battle. The fact that you filmed it and showed it in such a way that now I'm thinking, okay, so now I'm going to be doing what I've been doing in every Pokemon game, except now there's a bigger wild area. You didn't sell me. And the visuals. This game has no people of the internet.
Rise up.
That scared me. I don't know why. I'm yelling. You yelled and it scared me. Has no fucking excuse to look as bad as it does. Pokemon, as a company, is the most monetarily lucrative gaming franchise on the fucking planet.
Can I take it a step further? They are the most successful brand on the planet, beating Marvel, beating Disney, beating Shonen. The only brand that's even remotely close to them is Hello Kitty. But financially, they are the largest brand on the planet.
And you're telling me what this game is the best you got for a new style Pokemon game.
By the way, is how that brand started. Let's not forget that. Is gaming. Yeah.
That blows my fucking mind.
I genuinely can't defend how bad the game looks. For sure. For sure. It still looks really, really bad. And it's funny. I left watching the trailer. I'm really torn. I don't think I'm out, but I really want to be in. And I think I'm holding on to and this is what I mean. So when you watch, when they're running around the wild area, right? I know people are like, I don't like this thing or whatever, but I love the idea that you can just walk up around Pokemon and possibly catch them without battling. I know it's core to the experience that you begin a Pokemon. Whatever. I think it's fine. I think it's part of the nature of the beast with an open world Pokemon game. I'm cool with that, genuinely. I think the little rocket explosion that the ball does is kind of stupid. So
I think it's hilarious.
But that's not a real thing I care about. You know what I mean? But I like the idea. I'm glad they have lock on features or whatever for people who are really crap at aim or accessibility or whatever.
Yeah.
But I like that idea. I like the fact that you can sneak through the grass and whatnot. But they didn't really show is what does that genuinely do for the gameplay other than you can, and they show you sneak up on a Floatzel, but he was getting up and whatever anyway. So it's I don't know what's the actual advantage here?
What's
right?
the implication of that?
Yeah, what's the actual advantage between me sneaking up on a Pokemon while they're sleeping versus me just running at their face and throwing it in their mouth? Right? I don't know what the difference is. They didn't show any real context to express that difference. And it's strange because then the world and the setup of how you're moving and how you're capturing Pokemon looks like it at least has the basic fun potential to be really cool. And then they show the battles, and it's this is the same thing it was in Blue and Red. And to be fair, I hate to just say it like this because I don't mean it so dismissively. We're past that. Like, I want turn-based JRPGs. I love turn-based JRPGs. I love Octopath. I love Dragon Quest XI. And one of the reasons why I still love them, even though they're this old, when even though their format is this old, is because of all the iterations and refinements and additions to that formula.
Now they did add, I don't know, because this is another thing. They show things in the trailer, but like you said, we don't know the implication of what it means to the actual gameplay because there's no explanation. It's just we're supposed to see this fucking trailer and be like, oh yeah, I'm in.
I just want the styles.
The agility, the agile style, and the power style.
Yeah.
I want to know what implications that has.
Other than it's just power makes you do more damage, agile increases your speed.
Yeah.
Which I do like that they've changed what speed can do.
I did see.
I like that it's more like Final Fantasy X, essentially, where it's like if you higher speed genuinely can make you have multiple moves at a time.
Yeah, that I did like is that they have like the speed bar, like in Final Fantasy X, and it has like in the trailer it's Lucario and I think a Growlithe, and it shows Lucario using an agile move, and it shows on the chart right here that Lucario got an extra move.
But there's like a major problem with that though. How many Pokemon battles during your regular time through the story actually, like how many 1v1 occurrences actually last for more than like a turn or two?
Not many.
No, like the main game Pokemon battles are always, if you are actually prepared for like that encounter, even remotely, and you know type effectiveness, that the battles are like a lot of 1 and 2 shots for sure. The only reason why sometimes they're not is you introduce gimmicks like Mega Evolution or Dynamaxing to where Pokemon stats can get artificially inflated until you do it yourself, and then you're back in the same problem again. Like there's that, like outside the world bosses that they've introduced, which are a neat idea, but to be fair, again, it's like, why we're doing this like again? It's not. They didn't show anything that made it look like an interesting iteration of this mechanic. And sorry, to get back to the agile and power style thing, it's a cool idea, and I don't want to dismiss it again, but Monster Hunter Stories 2 did the same thing, and they did more of it and better. Like I literally I heard about the styles in Stories 2, and I watched a review of it, and I heard what they are. I've not played the game, so let me test that. Let me be honest with that and disclose that. But I've heard what they are and how they interact with the gameplay, and holy cow, there is so much more complexity to them than power style or agile style, and without being complex. Like there's just more interesting mechanics. And it's like, again, it's just this weird thing of like Pokemon, every time they do something forward, it's like it's a half step. And that's what everything I liked about the Arceus, this new trailer, comes with a thing that I don't like. Or a thing where you're like, that's it? Like, that's where you're going? There's another thing, like to bring back the battle system, for example. Really? There's nothing more interesting you could do with the battle system? You're going to go to an open world Pokemon game, and we're just gonna go to the same battle style with no real added context or mechanics other than I can basically get an X attack or an X speed for free. That's it.
Also, so I was actually, it's kind of funny. I was thinking about this the other day after I watched the trailer, and I find it weird that they're promoting it as an open world Pokemon game, but they're closing the open world for battles.
Wait, what do you mean?
Like, you're in the open world and you have a battle, but the fact that your battle takes place as like a regular Pokemon battle, to me, that breaks my immersion.
Oh, I see the split. The cut.
Like, I'm in a battle. Okay, well, now my character stops moving. I'm stuck in this one spot with this Pokemon until I either knock it out or catch it. You're telling me, so
there's definitely something more creative they could have done for sure.
Perfect example. You're telling me you wouldn't love, like, even if it was just you had your 4 moves and they had their 4 moves. You run into a Pokemon and it opens think like the Quest 64 like attack circle, like you have to be in that circle.
Okay.
But you're moving, imagine it like Pokken Tournament.
Oh.
You're walking around as those Pokemon trying to get advantage points and stuff, and you still have your 4 moves, and you can use those 4 moves in that space.
Randy, I hate you. That's a brilliant idea.
You're locking my immersion to a mechanic that doesn't fit your fucking design.
That's a brilliant idea. I didn't even think of that.
Why would you do that? Why? Because it's fucking easy, Pokemon. That's why. Because you didn't want to fucking take your $800 billion fucking dollars and make a fucking game that had any level of interest other than your wild area is kind of big.
Yeah, it is really weird to be the person here who we've just been like, though, like Pokemon could use an open world game and it just works, right? We've been saying that for years. Or they could expand the formula like more. And then they actually are releasing an open world Pokemon game. And even in my most excited moment, my expression is like,
okay,
really? That's it. Like, that's it. And again, it's because it's not like they're pushing uncharted territory here. You know, JRPGs, Pokemon is just a JRPG at the end of the day, right? Yeah. So like, if you remove like the monster raising thing is a side game to the core game. Yeah, right. Or at least the battling for this, especially. But like, we can have JRPGs that come out like Octopath or Persona 5 or Bravely Default 2, the games that are
Crash Bandicoot.
But like JRPGs that are new, that are like genuinely trying to mess with the formula, but yet keep it to its core. Yeah, it's really strange that Arceus is still like. It's weird. I'm not excited, but yet when you look at what they were like, what the could be, and here's where like the blind optimist in me kind of comes out. When you look at like the idea of like someone being like, okay, I'm gonna sneak around some Pokemon and I'm gonna run around the wild area literally and not have to like do this awkward sword and shield wild area thing, and I can just like walk up to the Pokemon and plummet in the back of the head with the Pokeball and catch it and
hit it with a ball peen hammer.
Or I'm actually taking apricorns and stones, and I'm actually taking crafting materials and I'm making Pokeballs and items for like my party because it's now like an actual RPG for the first time in a very long time. As much as I know people hate HMs, they're one of the last RPG elements, like realistically, of like Pokemon interacting with the real world. Actually, I talked about this in my Uranium video, and like the trainer items and equipment like adds that RPG element back to Pokemon in a lot of ways. They're bringing some of that back with crafting. Like imagine what they could do with crafting. But this is my problem. I'm imagining what they could do with crafting because I've watched other games do it. And I'm pretty positive what they showed in that trailer is literally all we're going to get.
Oh, yeah.
Take material A and material B and make a Pokeball. And that'll literally be it. And that's... but the premise of Arceus, or Legends Arceus, is such a good one.
Which is why I'm so fucking frustrated.
It's really crazy when you watch it and it's just like, but that's it? That's where you're going with this? And it's funny, I just don't know what I expected. And it's not like I have a high expectation. I want to make this very clear. I actually don't expect like almost anything out of Pokemon games, to be completely fair, because they're just I've been around long enough to know how this goes. It's crazy to me. I found more innovation in the Diamond and Pearl remakes, which has very little innovation, than I did Arceus Legends, because all they did was just basically...
Literally made the point talking about Link's Awakening. Diamond and Pearl is literally what I imagined Diamond and Pearl looking like when I was playing it on my DS in 2006, 5, one of those two.
Yeah, like you mentioned the towns earlier in Legends Arceus. Yeah, they look so...
Like they're supposed
tiled.
to?
They look so tiled. Yeah, they don't look like a town. They do not... Like, play a JRPG today, and then show that town from the Arceus trailer, and it's like... It doesn't feel real, and not at all.
I'll be honest, and I'm going to use this to kind of wrap up, because the thing is, like, I've kind of said what I needed to say. I'm like you. I want to love this game.
I love the idea.
Unfortunately, there's too much that I've seen from these two trailers that I don't think by January I'm going to be like, yeah, I'll buy this for sure.
That's the thing that, seriously, if I'm being honest, probably the biggest thing that's got me nervous or less interested is the timeline. Like if they were showing this and we had no release date, it's like, okay,
maybe they take the feedback and do something with it.
Yeah, there's a lot you could still do, because how much would it actually change by like implementing something like your that combat style like you implemented, right? Like the game already has to lock off an area anyway, because the combat still has to exist without a random Pokemon like walking in the middle of your battle. So that lock off already happens. You just now change the formatting of that lock off, and then you'd have to Would you have to change all the animations? I mean,
Not really.
Maybe, but I don't think so.
Even then,
how many of them would you actually have to change? Though?
Because Pokemon, they already have animations of Pokemon following you in Sword and Shield in the wild area.
Well, that's what I mean. But yeah, like, that's what I'm saying.
You take those animations and you take the animations that already exist for moves, and you basically either just use those or adapt them to a more dynamic style because of that combat scenario you could have.
I know, and yeah. So this is my thing, though. It's like when you watch that trailer, when you watch the trainer sneaking about through the grass in the world, it looks fine. Not like the visual, like the game looks gross. It's
unacceptable.
It just looks bad.
Switch.
Yeah, I don't. Well, that could also just be Pokemon.
Yeah.
To be fair, like Sword and Shield doesn't look great either.
No.
It does in a couple scenarios, like inside like the Colosseums or whatever.
It looks great.
Yeah. But like out in the wild area looks disgusting.
Yeah, it looks horrible.
It looks absolutely pathetic.
About the only thing in the wild area that looks okay is like the water, and even then it's like passable.
Yeah, and that's only when you're close.
Yeah.
But like the thing is, right, it's like when you watch a trainer maneuvering and sneaking up, because the characters' animations look fine. When you watch them like sneaking up on a Pokemon, game looks fine. And then it's everything outside that. The actual interactions with the Pokemon, the Pokemon's animations themselves, everything is so rigid that it's almost like there are two different games happening here. It's like they
couldn't sacrifice the precious battle formula to have something a little different.
Or even the Sword and Shield crap for this. How bad and rigid the animations are in that game. And sure, don't do a big national dex for Arceus Legends. People would be, of all the games that people would be understanding about it, it would be this brand new open world game. That's fine. You don't have to animate literally 900 Pokemon. It's just crazy how unfortunately rigid the game looks compared to everything, like compared to the character. It genuinely, it's very breaking, constantly breaking. It's very strange. My final thoughts are: I still love the idea. There's no way in my mind they make me genuinely excited by the time January rolls around with what they currently have. I would love to play it, and I feel like I feel like I want to try this one way or another, because it is such a departure from the regular formula in some ways that I want to see this out in some way, but I'm also not excited to go buy it, if that makes sense.
I feel you.
This is one of those, like, I'm curious, but I'm not excited. It'd be like if Age of Empires was like, I'm going to make a single player RPG and it looks like kind of okay, but you're like, yeah, but it's Age of Empires. I kind of want to try it. That's how I feel. I'm just like, yeah.
You also know that your game fucked up when I have to use a Quest 64 example to make your game better.
Quest 64 sucks.
To make your game better.
That game's actually garbage. Sorry for all you Quest 64 game fans out there. Go play the game now.
Not good.
The only reason Quest 64 had ever a fan base behind it.
This was the only RPG on the fucking N64.
Literally it. Well, anyway, I don't have really anything else to talk about. It's a shame that I would love to live in a world where I wasn't so cynical with Pokemon, but they've done nothing to make me ecstatic for their stuff. And it'll sell like crazy. Ooh, what if it doesn't?
That'd be awesome.
That would be.
And I'm not trying to be that guy to be like, I hope it sells like shit, but
I know what you mean though. Sometimes you need to like have a company have a fire lit under their ass to make them try.
What happened with Assassin's Creed? They had the fire lit under their ass, and they made Origins, and everyone was like,
"Oh, you guys can
holy
make a game!"
Fuck! And then they made Odyssey, and everyone was like, "Holy fuck!"
Yeah.
And then they made Valhalla, and everyone was like, "It's okay."
It's better than the 3 games before Origins, though. All right, well, I think I'm good, Randy. Do you have anything else you want to add before we
Nah,
depart?
man. It's just I really want to like Arceus. I want to like Legends Arceus. Nothing about what is there puts the money in my wallet into the cashier's hand to give me the game. But I'm with you where it's one of those things. It's like, it's different enough where I feel I have to at least try it.
Yeah, I have to see more. I have to see more. I'm not excited by it. It's everything I like There's a catch.
Guys, I love Pokemon. I don't want to fucking hate it.
Same.
But it looks like shit.
Yeah, I'm not saying it. I'm not going back down the path. It looks so bad.
I promise next time we'll have a way more positive podcast, maybe.
I mean, Metroid Dread had a great trailer.
It did.
It had a great trailer.
Go
we can
watch
end on a
it.
positive. Yeah.
Go watch it.
It seriously looks so cool.
Especially the end of the trailer. You're going to be like,
what the heck is that? The implications of that are pretty cool. Anyway, that is it for us then. Thank you for tuning into the Dusty Case podcast, where we talk about games and our... God, a lot of time, Rainey, there was like a solid... Remember when we first... Not first for doing podcasts, but there was a time when we did a podcast like every week for like 3 months, and we were positive. But you keep bringing up Pokemon. But thank you all for listening and or watching, depending on where you find this video or podcast. So thank you again. I have nothing more to say besides, come on, Pokemon.
yeah. Don't forget your shoutouts, twitch.tv/itsrabes, its_rabes, where we're playing video games, and I also do music reactions because I love me some heavy music. So
there you go.
Come hang out there. I don't got a YouTube channel, but come hang out on my Twitch. We have a lot of fun.
Everything is Zerbraxi, but I haven't streamed in like 2 months. I should really stop that. I should really get back on that.
Yeah, you should stream.
Yeah, I really should. I suck.
You do. You really do. You're so bad.
Thanks, Randy. All right, that's it for me.
Take care, everybody. Have a great night.
Bye. I like your outro better than mine.